Thank you, Dr. Holly, for such a stirring introduction. And thank you, all of you, for attending this first gathering on the state of Black Long Beach. You know, when the African American Convening Committee commissioned us to do this report, to gather this research, we never really imagined that the document that we would create would have such a crucial impact on the quality of life for Black people in the city of Long Beach. Now, maybe it's because we have some of the best weather in the world. I mean, you look outside here with sunshine as they're digging out of snow in the Midwest and preparing for a storm in the East. Or maybe it's because we have this thriving downtown cultural center with theater and symphony and beautiful sweeping views of the Pacific Ocean all the way out to Catalina when it's clear enough. Yeah. But you know, as you read in your executive summary that you received when you came in here, there are two realities in Long Beach. One wealthy and thriving, and one poor and striving. And we make up a large percentage of that latter group. And it's been such since Black people first came to Long Beach, and the census recorded 22 people in 1900. And it's those people who really strove to develop the Black community in the face of all kinds of odds. Despite the racial discrimination, residential discrimination, fortified, organized white resistance in the business community and in city government, those Black people forged a relationship to build this community and provide the shoulders on which more than 62,000 of us now stand. So in that sense, we are honoring the pioneers who brought us thus far, and it's our responsibility to forge an agenda that moves ahead for the younger generation to come. Now we're going to try to get the technology together here, and we hope that it works. But the modern miracles of technology are always such that Robert's, rather the rule of if everything, Murphy's Law, if something can go wrong, it'll go wrong. And if the corollary to that is the worst thing will happen first, and then after that, it's all downhill. So let's try. Huh? Well, it didn't work, so. Now, we're going to show a few charts here, so you get a snapshot of what's in the report that you will get at the end of the day, and that is summarized in the executive summary that you have now. So you can see that there are basic changes that have taken place in Long Beach. You know, the demographers during the mid-2000s expected that we would have a population of 500,000 people. And people were already saying, well, we're a city of 500,000 people. But a surprising thing happened on the way. Long Beach only had an increase of 735 people from 2000 to 2010. And that was a shock for a lot of demographers. Can we have the next one? Works, you think? As you can see, surprise. As you can see, what happens is that we really have a decrease. If you look at this slide, you can see that the numbers, actual numbers, and the percentage change shows that really black people suffered 10% loss in population. Whites, more than 11% loss in population. Only increase in population was among Latinos and among Asians. And so what is happening is that we're, in a sense, back at a point where we were in 1990. 1980, we represented about, 11% of the population. Then we moved up to 13, to a high of 14, and somewhere in the mid 2000, we thought we were at 15%. And now we're back at 13%. So we and the Asian community are really at a point of about sameness in terms of the percentage share of the Long Beach population. Now that's a reversal from what had been happening previous. Because as you could see, what we are now is we're about 13% of the population. So we're undergoing a Latinization of Long Beach. If you look at the black population in Long Beach from 1980 to 2010, you can see a rapid shifting of our population from the central area, as it is here in 1980, to a little less in 1990. And then when you look at 2000, you can begin to see the shifting away from the central city in and up toward North Long Beach, so that by 2010, we basically have 3 communities in Long Beach. We have a declining black community in the west side. We have a shifting community in the central city, and we have a budding development of a community in North Long Beach. So the target area of the Building Healthy Communities initiative did not take into consideration these shifts, didn't know about these shifts. And so that was one of the reasons that so many of us were excluded from the initial developments of that steering committee. This is much more understandable when you look at the enrollment in the Long Beach Unified School District. Now, one of the things that happened, there's been a decline all over in the Long Beach Unified School District. And from a high, say in 2004, about 97,000 students. But here you can see that in 1999, 2000, you had a little over, 91,000 students. And in 2010, by 2010, there was something like 86,000. The latest data that we have, we're just crunching the data from 2012. There are about 83,000 students. So there's a declining student population. At the same time there's a declining student population, there's an increase in Latinos. As a matter of fact, when you look throughout the city's planning districts, the 5 planning districts of the city, Latinos are the dominant ethnic group in every planning district except the east side. And even in the east side, Latinos represent 38% of the population. So that basically what we saw happening during the presidential election is already happening here in Long Beach. And as happened in the presidential election, the elections in Long Beach are going to take on a different hue altogether. Since I came to Long Beach, the mayoralty was decided by 2 districts, the 5th and the 3rd. You know, and if the trend nationally follows, then it means that the 9th, the 7th, 6th, all the other districts